They tripled their offensive production from the first to the second half, totaling 260 yards and 3 touchdowns. Big Ben accounting for 244 of those yards through the air, his most in a second half since November of 2018. Now, look, guys, I've been watching you guys all the time. You're dogging the Steelers. You're talking about this team. They're not going to go anywhere.
So being honest about the Steelers.
A little bit.
Don't you do that.
A little bit.
Don't you do that.
Well,
being
honest about the Steelers. I'll come to you then.
Don't do that.
Do you think this is a team that wins a game in the playoffs?
You know, first off, the second half saved me from jumping out of a first-story window because, like, I don't want to, be all the way going. I just want to be, a little hurt because of the way the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing the last 3.5 games. But I didn't think they could beat a playoff caliber team. I really didn't. The way that they were playing football, this at least makes me feel that if that first game has to come through Pittsburgh, which it does now because they've won the division, that they can win a football game, that when Big Ben is in control, when they push the ball down the field, give Chase Claypool some opportunities, Deontay Johnson, James Washington, that you can at least create pass interferences or make the big plays like we saw the Juju Smith-Schuster late in the game to take the lead. And then this defense also came alive. You look at Stephon Tuitt, Cam Hayward, also T.J. Watt coming off the edge, Minkah Fitzpatrick on the back end, and Mike Hilton with the huge interception. You saw some of those things that helped this team find ways to win games early on in the season. You saw some fight. And so where I don't believe this changes my outlook on the Pittsburgh Steelers and say that they can win the AFC Championship or even compete with Buffalo and Kansas City, I at least feel better about them competing and winning a game in the playoffs. And that's important for this team. When you start 11-0, you don't want to flatline and be sitting at home after the first week of the playoffs.
Okay, so that's good. So it looks like there's some improvement there. But, Rex, I wonder, they've still got a lot of deficiencies. How are you looking at this team?
Yeah, first off, that first half, I was like, they're done. This team stinks. That's what it looked like to me. But the way the game changed, the momentum changed after that touchdown pass, I'm like, oh, my gosh, Ben can still drive the ball. But I was like, to me, if you're going to win a game in the playoffs, you better run for more than 20 darn yards. And that to me, they got to get back to being the Pittsburgh that we knew, that when Ryan Clark was there, that team was able to run the football, be able to throw the ball down the field. I don't see it from this team. They don't do anything on a consistent basis on offense. I think their defense is you can win a ton of games in the playoffs with that defense, but man, I mean, when you ran the ball for 20 yards and you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's an embarrassment. And this team's always been about toughness and being physical. And I miss it now. Now they're spread you out all over the place, throw these short passes, all that kind of stuff.
It drives me crazy. It's cute.
They're way too cute. That's why I'm like, man, I don't like them. They're going to get beat in the first round.
They're going to get beat in the first round.
They're going to get beat in the first round.
Dan, what do you think?
I think the Steelers' season was saved by their offensive line. I've been trying to tell people for 2 months right now, it's the offensive line that has the play has declined so quickly, and they've gotten so old. And you look at the first half, and there was bodies all around Big Ben, and their offense had no rhythm, and there was no click to their offense. And then in the second half, they weren't. If you like these clips, they're not on the same page. They're not seeing the field the same way as receivers in Big Ben. And then there's a ton of pressure on Big Ben. And then in the second half, all of a sudden, it's like, no, we're going to play better. Big Ben threw the ball 29 times in the second half yesterday, okay? 29 times. He was touched 0. Now, if the offensive line is going to play like this in Pittsburgh, I can buy into them more. My expectation for them is higher than it has been over the last month. This is a team that can make noise in the playoffs if their offensive line plays as well as they did in the second half yesterday.
Don't you have to run block too, though?
Hey, but here's my thing.
Don't you have to run block? You got 20 rushing yards?
But here's my thing, Rex. Here's my thing with that, okay? I understand that, and yes, you need that in the second half. But at the end of the day, this is the style that Pittsburgh has chosen to play with this year. And it hasn't worked over the last 4 or 5 months or 4 or 5 weeks because they can't keep the quarthank clean. If they keep Big Ben upright, the same that we say about Tom Brady.
I
if
agree
they
with
keep
that.
him upright, the receivers are good enough.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.